our Vikti journey. Welcome to Vikti journey, Mohini Didi, the leading light. Stories of spirituality that inspire and illuminate. So now we will invite our angels, Mr. Wadi. Welcome.
Takes a few moments to unmute. And so once again, Om Shanti, good evening to everyone. Good evening, Bhumi, to Sister Mohini, of course, and Brother Dev, who has a story for us. And I'm going to go a little off script this evening once Devbai is finished, because I want to add another story in the same vein. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Wadi. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
So today's story is a short one, but very powerful one. And I would assume as we read the story, Didi can probably guess where it has come from. So here's the story. Last year, one sister was seriously sick and was admitted to a hospital. Even the doctors had given up on her. Mohini Didi was supporting us through phone calls and giving sakash to the soul. All of us at the center were getting increasingly concerned as the medical condition of the sister was worsening by the hour. We had a Zoom call with Mohini Didi in the evening. She casually said that the sister will get better. Almost everyone was compassionately saying that to us. But when Mohini Didi said it, I felt in my core that Baba spoke through her. That gave courage to the soul. Next day morning, the sister was diagnosed accurately, received the right treatment, and started to get better. This whole experience has been forever etched upon my heart. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Mohini Didi.
Yeah, we perhaps expect great souls to be miracle workers and to be healers. And I want to share a story, because one thing I have to say, that stories such as this, as you've just shared, Devbai, and that I'm going to share, you won't hear Sister Mohini telling them herself. And others may tell them, but in all the years since this incident that I heard about, first from relatives who were involved and later on from the one who was the patient, but I've never ever heard Sister Mohini tell the story and her part in it. And so maybe that will be part of the questioning afterwards. And so what happened some 30 years ago, a soul whose family, 2 prior generations, had already very faithfully been with Baba. And so from 6 years old, she was brought up in a BK atmosphere. But anyway, when she was in her mid-20s, she became seriously ill, suddenly, unexpectedly, and a little bit like the story you told, they were not able to diagnose it. They thought it was a variety of things, and it seemed there was only one other case recorded, and even till today, they still do not know accurately how it was contracted or what exactly it was. And it was really extreme. The patient was in ICU. The relatives had been called because they were anticipating that she was going to leave the body. And the relatives had come, they were in other countries, and everybody came. And there was any number of times, at least 3, when a code blue was called, where she was going into serious respiratory shock or whatever, that they thought that they were losing her. And it was such that even the relatives were planning or talking about the last rites and about her funeral. Now, Sister Mohini had been in India, in Madhaban, no doubt, and I don't know for sure whether she just coincidentally came back at that time, and this was in New York. And Sister Mohini and everyone in the family had great faith in Sister Mohini on all levels. And she went to the hospital. And one of the first things, as I recollect, it's how I recollect being told the story, that they were engaged in some conversations about what if she leaves the body and what to do in one thing and another. And Sister Mohini told them, please don't do that. You never speak about the soul leaving the body when the soul is still in the body. And then Sister Mohini went to the bedside, and the patient, and she had I don't know if you say it properly, a trachea, right? So she was in and out of consciousness. And now, just to give you an indication of how severe the illness was, she spent 4 to 6 months in hospital, right? And this is a young woman, she's like 25 years of age. And Sister Mohini approached the bed, and what the patient remembered or felt, Sister Mohini began to rub. She said she doesn't remember whether it was her hands or her feet. And the other thing that Sister Mohini did, as was told later by the girl's grandmother, that, and again, whether she just intuitively knew, and it has been a lesson for me, and although I've never been in a situation with someone like that, but I keep this in mind, that the young woman knew that all these people, her auntie and her parents, her grandparents, were in the room, but didn't know what was going on or why they were there. And so Sister Mohini, while, gently massaging her, explained to her why she was where she was and why her whole family had gathered there. And just like the story you told earlier, it was like it was the moment of change. Both she herself felt from Sister Mohini and the massage and the words and the explanation, and medically it was the turnaround. Everything turned around at that point. And I'm happy to say that all these years later, the patient is well and thriving. And her grandmother had told her that, and it was interesting, it wasn't that Sister Mohini has come for you, but that Sister Mohini had brought Baba for you, or that Baba had sent Sister Mohini, but that Baba was very definitely in the equation. And so it would be nice to hear this story from Sister Mohini, but some of the questions that I have, and this is pertaining to both situations, is, because I've seen it with Daddy, everyone else is in a state of heightened distress, right? the loved ones, and so on. But what is it that enables these souls to see beyond the illness, that they're seeing in a completely different way? I saw it with Daddy Janky once, but it was a situation of someone's mental illness, and we were all so worried. But Daddy was as cool as a cucumber. And again, no doubt it had a huge effect. So, dear Sister Mohini, would you like to join us?
Thank
And
you so much for sharing that story. That's very well goes with this story. So
yeah,
goes with
yeah,
here.
yeah. And so a couple of questions for Sister Mohini. One is this thing of how is she able to go beyond what's going on, because these are people that she also has love for, you know. And the other thing, last night I was talking to Baba's children in Latin America and talking about that we all have a covenant, a certain like commitment with Baba that's very personal. And I'm wondering if Sister Mohini, because what she does is not something you can make effort for. I don't think it has to do with sadhana. I think it's there as a gift that then is nurtured. And so was it some covenant that she had with God from a previous incarnation that she would be able to heal people? Please tell us. We want to know your secrets.
Om Shanti,
Sister
everyone.
Mohini.
I thought you won't find more stories, but you have
Oh, there's
instead
more.
of you have
But
one.
this is
also.
very, very special for me. I've never forgotten this one.
One thing I want to tell everyone, that when you are any patient or anyone you want to help, you have to connect with the soul. Not look at the body, not look at body's condition. Because I remember that one time I was in Guyana and I had to visit someone, and this sister was in coma, and I start talking to her as a soul, and she start moving her hands as she wants to someone hold her hand. So I just hold her hand. But surprisingly, the response she gave immediately, because when you contact soul, right, and always remember that they have some karmic accounts, right? And actually only one Baba can settle anyone's karmic accounts. Of course, our good wishes are there, our pure feelings are there. And I think each one of us, when there is total purity, our hands has that capacity or healing power. But just look at the center of the forehead, talk to the soul. I don't exactly remember that Debai story but I think you are sharing. I remember that I went in, and before me there was she was married recently. So this man's nun, no, because he was Christian, she came in. So they give you turns to go in because she was critical. So that I went in, and nun was still there. And she was saying, God, please, this is the time. She's so young. You have to be active now. You have to do something, like she was doing prayers. And after that, I went and I put my hand on her lungs because her lungs were failing. And I said, do you remember you were with Baba? Because when she was little, she had gone with her grandparents to Madhuban. So I said, do you remember what did Baba say? Do you remember your blessings Baba gave you? And I saw her head, yes, I do remember, I remember. So anyway, she was, then after a little while, I went out and the whole family was there. And they were questioning that why our meditation is not working. And they also had sent a message to Dadi Gulzar. And I said, and Dadi Gulzar, that because you are all not able to see her as a soul, So you are not able to give power. You are looking at granddaughter or daughter or whatever. So because when I went, and then after a little while, they called immediately, can someone come? But they all had gone for a cup of tea. So I went and she opened eyes and she was like, responding. And so nurses, everyone, they were very happy. But whole thing was that why whole family was meditating day and night, and why their power didn't work. So I always remember, since I have come to Gyan, that it's the soul to soul contact.
Beautiful.
And Baba can also help if we are in soul consciousness. So that soul who is not well, the body might not be in soul consciousness, but you connect with the soul, right? And always, always think it's Baba. And I don't necessarily want people to know this. I want them to know method, because this is the method if we use it. But one thing since I came in Gyan, this whole thing about soul consciousness and then spiritual relationship. And so I don't know if I didn't have attachment, but I was more like there is a lot of spiritual love, with even my low kicks, but it was not attachment. So I think that if everyone, whenever you see someone and you want to share good wishes of any kind, then you have to have that soul consciousness and never think that, oh, I'm going to get this one well. My good wishes are going to get this one well. No, Baba is going to do that, right? Like I keep reminding her of Brahma Baba. Look what happened when you went to Madhuban, how nice it was. And also somewhere when you look at the soul, and also there is some kind of something comes like, you know, I should say it not, but Uncle Gayatri's father was in Toronto, and like he was almost gone. And I went and I said, Uncle, what's going on? And like this. And I must have just put my hand on his chest and he opened eyes. And then I called everyone. I said, look, kid,
Yeah.
but it was soul. But what inside me was that he will not go. Of course, you cannot prolong if it's karmas for long, maybe year, 2, 3, or maybe not. But basically, because as soon as there is this pure thought for the soul, and you connect with the soul, I think that's where the whole power is or healing is. So I don't know from past, and I actually never knew about it. But once I was in a program in Madhuban. I mean, I know that people always said it. There was an American man used to come in Queens, and he had heart problem. And he keeps saying, you have healing power. I said, no. He said, can you just hold my wrist? I said, no, I don't touch anyone. And he said, just once you do it. And then next time he came, he said, it is written in the Bible that those who have healing power and they don't use it, it's sin. So if you are not doing it, it will be sin. I said, I'm still not doing it because I don't do that. And I never wanted it to be known in the sense, but
Yeah.
so anyway, I said, okay, he was so miserable. He was an old person, like must be in 80s. I said, okay, so I just hold his hand like, on his wrist. And I don't know what happened after, but what I'm saying that some people come to know also. So I don't know if it's healing power or it's the Baba. You all must have heard the stories of Brahma Baba and Dadi Prakashmani. Of course, Dadi Janki, with Balwant in London.
Yeah.
She just was looking at the soul for half an hour and had determined thought that he has to revive. And it was a very serious case, right?
Yeah,
So I think all of us, whenever we have opportunity or we are asked to go and see a patient, always have this connection of soul to soul. Don't look at body, what sickness that person has, you know. But it is both ways. If someone has to leave body, let's say, and you are there, but still like somewhere the soul gets that comfort also.
mm-hmm.
You know, both ways. One is recovery, miraculously they kind of survive. But I think that this soul to soul contact is very important, whether it is for patient or even amongst ourselves.
Mm.
And because in this there is such a pure love, you know, in that soul consciousness, there is love, very pure energy of love between soul to soul. Recently I was in a meeting, and after a long time I became emotional because I thought, are people place conscious, task conscious, or are we serving with spiritual love, or do we want anything else, you know? And if there is spiritual love, I think what even you have that too. In the sense, then the way you give, the way you look at people, they are sustained, right? But if you only, oh, this is good in that, so he should do that. It's like always there is something in between that pure love. And I feel, you know, especially we as instruments of Baba, wherever we are, you know, Baba says, don't have desires, have just spiritual love. And you will see how these days I find a lot of quality souls, they want to surrender to Baba, right? But we look at so many things and then we see them as they yet have to grow, they have to, but spiritual love is something which we should serve with. You know, I had been saying, but today I
Yeah.
thought I will say it loud. There should be no other desire, no intention, just serve with spiritual love. Because there are many souls. These days they feel they want to wind up, they want to do for Baba, they want to be more for Baba. So if I have spiritual love, then we can help them to decide. Plus, I think they can grow. We can sustain them properly. But if we are, you know, oh, this is a big place, so more people should come. Some say, oh, uh, you know, very task oriented kind of thinking. Of course, spiritual love, and then you have to do tasks, but don't look at who is doing what and love based on that. If you give love truly and people feel that power, feel that love, if they are happy, everything will get done, you know. Money also could never be problem. People will be just willing to support. But I think we need that lot. As Baba's love, look at all of us. We are nurtured by Baba's love, right?
Thank you.
Baba never, of course, he knew our specialties. When I think of the task I have done, I can't believe even that it was me who will go and do this, do that. But it was Baba's love. So if we can do that, I think it will be so powerful and you will see the achievement, you know, so, but not have any desire.
Sister
So,
Mohini, are you seeing evidence of that increasing in the Brahmin family,
hmm,
of pleasing the Lord and just
yeah,
coming from
yeah,
love? Yeah, I
yeah,
think so
just
too. I think
it's
so
important.
too.
Yeah. I think that is, I think it's magical and it's important. It's necessary because, you know, we can make a lot of efforts. Like sometimes people ask me, what efforts? I even don't realize that I'm making efforts. But be honest with Baba, do right way, follow Baba. You know, like I always think that in my life, because I want straight route, I have to just keep following Brahma Baba. I don't look at any soul, don't listen actually lot. I just say I have to follow Baba's footstep so that I reach to destination which he has shown us. and He is guiding us. So I definitely encourage everyone, Baba's children, to have spiritual love and keep follow Father. But always remember that who is the one who giving us power, right? Who is the one who is making us worthy? Always Baba, you know. So
Mhm.
that's important.
Beautiful. I don't know if that this might change where we're at the moment, but I was wondering, and I think you've already maybe answered it, but if when you're instrumental and you're not thinking that you are, but in that healing, like there was a one Mahatma, the only one I ever thought of as a Mahatma, and he developed cancer, and the followers said to him, that there was so much love for him that we're willing to take your cancer, we're willing to take your karma. And he said, who do you think gave it to me in the first place? And so is that possible? Can you take on other people's karma? Can you alleviate their karma? Or maybe that thinking is wrong, whereas here it's because you have Baba in mind. So you don't get, just like sometimes healers, these natural healers, they do a healing and then they get exhausted because they take some of that energy. So is that a strange question maybe, but oops.
These sisters are trying to remind me about Debai's story, that who said and all that. So they turn off so that I can listen to them.
Okay.
You know, you heard, no, that Sai Baba used to do some miracles, right? One of the guru in India, he was very
Yes,
known for.
yes, yeah,
So
yeah,
he will treat people. But in his book, he wrote a book and he said, actually, nobody can, it's karmas. And karmas are karmas. If you don't settle now, you will still have to settle somewhere. So, but I feel that, no, it's like Baba saying obstacle destroy, right? Just now Baba said.
okay,
So to claim victory over the obstacles. And Dadi Janki always used to say, whenever like I went for surgery or another, she said, we are purifying the matter, we are becoming the conqueror of matter. And
yeah,
like she never thought it's settling of karmic account. One
interesting,
day, one day she said to me, people think I have karma to say, oh, what karmas to settle? I have done so much elevated karmas that
yeah,
I have lot of plus, I don't have any minus.
beautiful,
But I also feel that, it should be human nature to stop somewhere, right? In the sense of, okay, if you are 80 plus something, but we keep going on, right? So the nature will somewhere say, okay, now you have to be angelic, you have to be aware. Otherwise it won't happen. So I always feel that nature also, elements also play that part. I don't call it karmic account, but in the end, and that is what I keep saying in Madhuban to or Dadis or Nirvana, that why it is necessary to keep, after certain time, you have to keep doing this, more medical. And we had all this also. We know that there is a value of that soul in the body, but also sometimes I find that there is a time we should let the soul go in right
yeah,
time. Right? Just become angel. I keep telling Baba. Today also I was talking to Baba. I just want to go as an angel. I don't want all that, for years to body is taken care of. Medically, they can keep a person, right? but also spiritually, I feel that I keep telling Baba, the way you went, I want to go same way.
Yeah.
Where, so yes, I think that we can help the soul while the soul is going through something, definitely, in the sense of being present, support, and, being present also can help. One time, Dadi Janki was very sick in Ahmedabad, and Nirvar Bhai called me. It was Christmas Day. He said, "You just come." And I said, "Okay, I will go." And so she used to get very sick, you all know that. But then going, talking, what she has to say, her desires. Oh, I want this place to be served. I want this place to get money. I get. So she keeps saying it. I said, we will do everything. You just tell us. So sometimes like a person whom patient can talk freely, that could also release some kind of some
Yeah.
concerns or whatever.
Beautiful.
So I think
Beautiful.
we all can help in whatever way. And I still don't remember Bhumi, and they're reminding me of the story with Devbhai. I think it's they're saying that it's Sukanya who wrote this story.
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but one time in San Francisco for Anubhuti, they were celebrating their 10 years. And, for me, I can only travel. So I said, okay, I will take night flight, reach in the morning, and next day night, I will take another flight, come back. And when I arrived, just little before me, Chandruben got very sick and she was taken in emergency. And I just had feeling, such strong feeling to just go. And it was good, at least I was there. So program went on. And then I went to see her in hospital before. So sometimes it's like, soul feels that pull, you know. And Chandruben keeps calling me often. Oh, I just want to talk to you. I want to be, I really want to talk to you. So she calls, whenever she feels, she calls me for a few minutes. So anyway, I think that our purity, pure love, soul consciousness, bringing Baba, these elements definitely are good support. It could be
Beautiful.
sympathy or power for any soul, right?
That's
It's just
great.
pure, yeah.
Very practical for me. It's
Mhm.
very, very useful. Thank you so very, very much. That was great. Dear bye.
Thank you. I think really this is, I guess what I'm taking is all of us, if we have total purity, we do have that, I guess if we call, don't want to say healing power, but we have that spiritual power within us. And to really see them as souls, not as patients, not as sick, none of those things. And that's really so important, especially now at this time and as the time get more delicate as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I'm taking too.
Thank you,
Thank
Didi.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come back next week for another story.
Let's see. Mhm.